that grown man swag on, boy, that resale shop drip, baby, resale shop drill.
And I got pulled over, and I had recently gotten a couple speeding tickets. I was like, oh, I was freaking out, like I can't afford to get another one. And the cop came up to my window, and I was like, I'm having a panic attack. And they were like, you don't need to have a panic attack. And I was like, you don't need to be a cop. Like, we all make choices, Brett. I was on antidepressants before the shrooms and everything. I went to the doctor one time, and they told me that I had gained some weight. And they're like, oh yeah, it's probably from the antidepressants. Do you want to go off them? And I was like, yeah, that makes sense. So that way, when the pallbearers are carrying my coffin, it'll be as light as it can be for them. Because that's the kind of considerate person I am. I'll kill myself for kindness.
Is that bad because he's trying to control me? Or is it good because he's just like correcting the gender pay gap on a very small scale? And he's like, we need to order. The waiter's been here for 5 minutes. No, but it's not like I can't pay, it's just that he can pay a lot better. Right? Because we both know one of us is an engineer and the other one writes tweets for a living. So I try to pay as often as I can, right? And when I do, I make a huge deal about it. Turn it into a game called Being the Boy. Don't look at it with a critical lens, and it'll stay fun. All right. So when you're being the boy, you do everything the boy would do, right? You drive, you pay for dinner, you imply that he should put out. It's a lot of fun. You get to call him baby girl the whole time. Right? Well, being the boy is almost perfect, okay? The only problem with it is that a lot of times the waiter doesn't know how to play. And so at the end of the meal, I'll hand him my credit card and he'll bring it back to my boyfriend, which sounds bad, but actually that is the last step of being the boy, because you get cock-blocked. And then you go home and you punch a hole in the wall. I wasn't bullied as a kid, but I do think it was a missed opportunity. Call it like I see it. I went through a full Al Gore phase. And everyone I went to school with just let me do it. Which I think is meaner than just bullying it out of me. But you probably know Al Gore had this book about climate change called An Inconvenient Truth, right? But he also had a children's version of that book called Oh My God, Sorry. Right, I was just
looking out for us. Not real, probably. I don't think she's real. I don't think anyone looks like that, That's all I'm gonna say on the matter, though, because I think she's tied to the Illuminati, and I don't wanna find out later what happens if I talk shit about Jumana. But I grew up Muslim, and I grew up like strict Muslim, and it was tough as a kid because my parents moved us to Rochester Hills, right? So I was like, this is gonna be an uphill battle, right? As a kid, I knew that. It's just tough as a kid growing up in Rochester Hills, trying to be a devout Muslim, because it's like Monday to Friday. You're going to public school, hanging out with Timmy and Josh, having a great time. And Saturday, you go to Saturday school, and they teach you Timmy, Josh, and all white people are burning in hell one day. And you're like 7, and you're like, fuck, that sucks. Just made, things tough. It made recess complicated, We're shooting at hoops. Timmy's like, your turn. And I'm like, Timmy, why don't you take another turn, man? I want you to enjoy this life. That's all you got. Islam's great. There's just like a lot of rules to keep up with, right? Like 5 times a day you gotta pray. 30 days a year you can't eat. One of the worst ones for me was, as a man, you can't shave your beard. That one was tough because in 5th grade, I had a full mustache. You don't want to be that kid in 5th grade, dude. We're still doing like Valentine's Day boxes, you know? You don't want to be that kid. You're not getting a Valentine with a mustache in 5th grade, okay? All through middle school, though, I kept that mustache, right? And all through middle school, people thought I was the assistant teacher. It's true. Everyone thought I was the assistant teacher. So then I was like, you know, it'd be great to finally get some attention from some women. I'm going to high school now. You know, I have a decision to make. Maybe I shave the mustache and have a shot at the virgins of this lifetime. Instead of waiting for the afterlife virgins, right? Right? You know what I mean? It's all good. I shaved the mustache, and if you're wondering what happened, nothing changed. And I was like, you know what? I respect that you send white people to hell. Thank you. Being Muslim, though, like you'll hear people say inshallah a lot, right? Yeah. White guys are saying inshallah now. I'm like, what's going on, dude? Inshallah, though, it means if God is willing, it will happen, okay? The thing is, if you hear that word in response to a yes or no question, it's a real head scratcher. Especially if you're a kid, right? I'm like, Mom, I got Josh's birthday party this weekend. Can I go? She's like, inshallah. And I'm like, Mom, Josh needs head count. I can't tell him inshallah. You know? Just suck for the important things in life, right? Like, Mom, can you pick me up from soccer practice later? She's like, inshallah. I'm like, oh man. Or I'm like, Mom, when I go to college, can you pay my tuition? She's like, inshallah. I'm like, but then I'm like, Mom.
Model, Chaldean, dark hair, dark eyes, and nose I wasn't born with. Don't laugh, it's cultural. Before, you know, you do ask, I'm not from Sterling Heights. I'm actually from a very rare subtype of Chaldean that have no business sense. I think it's genetic, because my parents aren't cousins. No, they're not first cousins. I don't think. Like right now, you know, I'm telling jokes for free in a club I don't even own. But my parents came here from Iraq, and they left their homeland because it was oppressive and soul-crushing. And, you know, I get it because I too left home because it was oppressive and soul-crushing. See, Chaldean kids, especially girls, don't leave home unless they get married or die. And since I didn't see myself dying anytime soon, at least not of like natural causes, I got married. And I married an American, an Amriki, which pretty much means white guy. And I know people are always like, well, Nazik, there's other kinds of Americans. And I'm like, I know, but I wasn't allowed to marry them. So you're just a bigger target. It's true. And slow. Okay, it's like you're more likely to die. It's like COVID. Number 2, work out, especially your upper body. One of the things that we practiced, you know, you always see everybody filing out of the building. And we didn't do it very long, but like, this is the position, okay? It's not this or this, okay? So the reason they want your hands up in the air is so that they don't mistake you for the shooter. But everyone just can't maintain. So we're all there like, well, fat and weak, I don't know what to tell you. You also may have to hang out of a second floor window with kids that use you as a ladder. And that's true. After you break the window, like I don't know how to do any of those things, so that's great. But you know, you have to think about your own needs as well. Okay, so for example, me, you know, I pee when I run. And, yeah, I had those 2 gingers, so. And so, you know, it's not a lot, but it's unpredictable, so I have to prepare. I need a layer. Right? You know, I wear a sports bra to work every day. I mean, you know, these are pretty good. It would have been good at being a whore. But it's like being fat. You know, it's like I need something, you know, so I have a Kevlar sports bra. And I'm like, do I have to report that to HR? Is it tax deductible? Am I gonna get sued if I like don't die? And you know, I know it's like I'm not vain. I just, you know, don't want to be a meme with like a boob-shaped black eye and wet pants. Like that would take away from the like seriousness of the situation. How would we ever get legislation passed if that's all people remember?
From pages that I don't even follow. You know what? And they're not like entertaining. It's not like that would be one thing. They're all like trivia questions or like riddles. Like the last one I saw, it said, name 2 states that start with the letter A. And then at the bottom it said 90% of people get this wrong. No, they don't. But apparently, that was enough to trick thousands of people to comment their answers below. I know! Was the pandemic that long? Do you know, like, is this where we're at as a species now? I'm scrolling through the comments, and I'm just like, who is not hugging these people? You don't know that, relax. But seriously, like, where are these people's family members? And then I see my dad comment, Arkansas and Alabama, and I'm like, no! I'm not hugging my dad enough! After that joke, he's like, well, let's bump those hugging numbers up. I had a very concerned, empathetic crowd. That's nice. All the posts on my Facebook are either that, or it's like the most wildly invasive targeted ad I've ever seen. I can't believe we're like putting up with it. Like, they used to be subtle about the fact that they were tracking everything that we were doing. That was a nice time. Remember, now they're so in your face about it now. They're like, yeah, we're listening. You were just talking about this, weren't you? You're welcome. Don't turn around. I got an ad for a dating app called Short Passions. Let me take a step back. I am 5'4", and you guys can see that. It's cool, no, it's cool. You got eyes. You can see that I'm short. But how does Facebook know that? You know, like, my height isn't listed on my profile. Where'd they get that information? What, did they see that I cropped my legs out of all my photos and just assumed?